Hello, friends. Welcome to Rewind and Reflect, where we believe in the universal truth that there's no such thing as coincidence or mistakes. And we are here to share our experience on that subject and other subjects. My name is Deb Miller.
I am Susan Doyle. Nice to see everybody. Hi, Deb. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. It's cold here in Florida, so the iguanas are falling fast and furiously from trees. So anybody visiting in from down in Florida, just be aware because or planning on coming this upcoming week, it's still going to be in the 60s. And just prepare yourself. I know a lot of people think, oh, we'll go to Florida in January, but it's hit or miss. It can be pretty
Thanks so
chilly.
much. I
Yeah.
work remote. For those, I think I've mentioned that I work remote in my house in Massachusetts, but I do work with people from all over the country. And I was talking to one of my coworkers who lives in Florida, and she had like a cardigan on yesterday when we were on a Teams call. I'm like, what's going on with the cardigan? She's like, oh, it's cold here. It's like 55. I'm like,
I know.
really? Because here with the
It's a
wind chill, it's about 4.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm thinking 55, I would be in pasties and a thong if it was 55 out.
Right. I know.
So I'm okay with the cold. It's just the wind that whips right through me.
That's tough. It is tough.
Yeah.
And I know by the time people see this episode, it's going to be February. Um, but even in February, it's a little chilly here. So,
I am holding on to the fact that the days are getting longer as
mm,
of December 21st. So when I look outside now and it's dusk a little later, I do have this great sense of hope that spring is coming.
yeah,
It may not get here till like May, but
that's okay.
listen,
You know it's
listen, I
coming.
got to hold on to something to get me through the winter.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing about the universe. You always know that your spring is coming, the light is coming.
Hmm.
Night is coming, we can depend on all of the seasons and night and day.
Amen. And I think what we can also depend on is so this we're going to be airing this in February, the day before Valentine's Day. So I love your sweatshirt, Radiate Love. I also love your pen with the little pink floofy on the top of it. Kills me. It does remind me of 7th grade. So
Love
I
it.
love that about you. But Valentine's Day, so
What do you think of Valentine's Day? There's so many, everybody's like, oh, it's just a Hallmark um thing where people just spend money and it's like, I don't know what I think about it. I don't
yeah, I mean, part of me feels like there's a lot of pressure for that one day to make this like big, huge proclamation to the person or people in your lives that you love. I'm not crazy about the fact that it's just like your significant other because I think you can have Valentine's, now there's this new movement, Galentines, where the single girls get together and celebrate a little bit if they don't have significant others or um
But here's the thing,
that
why do we need to do that? Like, why do people have to feel this pressure of like, oh, I'm alone on Valentine's
right,
Day? It should just be like another.
right.
And if you're involved with somebody, you should feel the love from them every day, not
I
just
agree. I agree. So that's sort of where I was getting to. It's like we should just make it more of a practice to show love and kindness and empathy and honor each other regardless of whether they are your love interest or your husband or your wife or something like that every day, all day. I mean, what a beautiful like universe we would live in if that was the mantra, right?
think about it. If you went through every day and just shared some light and love with somebody, even a stranger, like that ripple effect is just, it would be enormous.
Enormous, enormous. So I was saying before we started recording that I taught my yoga class this morning, and it was very similar to this in that I was teaching the the nugget to kind of ruminate about was about gratitude, and how I was listening to a podcast, or I read something the other day where the woman basically said, why do we have to keep gratitude just to the month of November around Thanksgiving? Like, you should be grateful all day, every day. I mean, the simple act of waking up should find you grateful. And so when we said we're going to, talk about Valentine's Day, I kind of feel the same way. It's like, gratitude, most, it seems as though people wait for these grandiose proclamations of gratitude. Like, I'm so grateful for, when they, you know, find themselves in remission from cancer, or find somebody cheating death, or find that they had a financial windfall or something, and really the biggest bang for your buck is to be grateful for the small little things.
Mhm.
So, I am grateful that I woke up this morning. I'm grateful for my job. I may not love my job. I may not love winter, but I'm grateful that I'm here,
Right. To experience.
and it just builds from there.
Yeah, so true. There definitely is, I can say, in my life, I am very focused on practicing gratitude for the things that I have, the challenges that I've been presented with, the opportunities that are coming my way. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not, sometimes they're just, but I firmly believe that every single thing that happens in our life leads us to exactly where we're meant to be. So if I have something in my life that needs to be focused on, or I need to grow or understand it more, then I'll be presented with an opportunity to do that. And it might be painful, it might be uncomfortable, but when I look back at my life and I look back at all of the things that have happened, I can see why they needed to happen.
Agreed.
When I was in it, oh hell no. When Hunter was sick, there was nothing that anybody could say to me that would, I'd be like, yeah, this is meant to be. This is, whatever. It just, but now on the other side of that, I can see exactly where I needed to grow, what I needed to become aware of, and really just to appreciate what is coming my way. And here's the other thing, I want to be able to be so happy and grateful for what I do have and not focus on what I don't have.
Agreed. And so, again, and you can tie it to anything like Valentine's Day. Be grateful for those that you love, and that love you, rather than focusing on the people that may not appreciate you.
Right, right, right.
You
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
But,
I get it.
I would love to see, instead of Valentine's Day, like the day that you show your love for your significant other or whatever, have it be a World Day of Love or something, where
Yes.
everybody goes out there and pays it forward somehow, or, you
It's a
know,
great idea.
because, you can really feel yucky if you see all of the people sharing their love and all of that. And then, but yet, if you're alone, it's not a lot of fun, So it would be great if we could just shift that over to the day of love.
Yeah. Or, yeah, I agree. I mean, every day find something to be grateful for. Every day find an opportunity to pay loving kindness forward, something. And
Right.
it doesn't, and again, it's one of those things that I don't believe it has to be this big, grandiose gesture. I mean, simply holding the door open for somebody that you don't know, or, a simple excuse me, a simple, how about this? I mean, I would love, love, love to see people put their phones down when they're, in line getting coffee and you turn to the person and say hello. Or, you know, I would love to get back to a world that when I stand in front of a class, that I don't have to remind people to turn their phones off because they are here for an hour, and to remind them not to get on their phone while I'm busting my ass
Oh, does that
in
happen?
front of them. Oh my God, it's horrible. It is horrible. I never thought in a million years that I would be in a situation where I'm teaching a class and somebody literally is on their phone.
While they're doing yoga, they're talking on the phone, or they're checking their phone.
No, they'll like answer a text, or now the watch is a kiss of death. You know, they'll be on their watch, or, you know, they forget to turn their phone off, so their phone rings, or they get a text message and it bings. And,
Oh,
but I've also, people have sat on a spinning bike and are texting while they're spinning. I have lost my shit so many times that now, you know, and I do get in trouble for it, by the way, but, um, yeah, yeah.
so
So, I mean,
yeah,
I
that
think maybe it could be more of, you know, practice moments or stream moments together that you're present.
mhm,
So then you can feel love and you can feel kindness and you can feel gratitude. You can't feel any of those things if you are down a rabbit hole on fucking Instagram, or down a rabbit hole on, you know,
TikTok,
reading your emails at 3 o'clock in the morning because you think you have to, because it's, you know, you just can't be present.
right,
And when you are not present, you do not have the ability to intrinsically, purposely feel those things.
right, right. Kevin and I have a thing now when we go out to dinner, not when we're eating at home, but when we go out to dinner, we leave our phones in the car
Love that.
because
Love that.
I can put my phone down and not look at it. He can't. He's just, and his phone is
Hmm.
constantly going. And I said,
Yeah,
there's no point in us having paying for a nice dinner, going out and like just removing ourselves from the day-to-day grind to have a
right.
nice dinner if we're going to be looking at the phone. It just, you know,
So at home, when I was raising my kids, no phones at the dinner table. And no phones in their rooms when they were doing their homework. And social media wasn't huge when they were growing up. Neither was cell phones or smartphones. Um, Now, when it's just Sean and I, television is off.
mhm.
Sometimes we have music on when we're eating alone by ourselves, you know, because we have no kids here. Phones on the counter or not on the table. Out to dinner, I would say 95%, 100% of the time, I leave my phone either home or in the car. 95% of the time, he will leave it in the car.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so we are working on the, you know, but it's good. I mean, and it's more like we'll have the phone because we're talking and we'll, you know, Google something to see who's right
That's right.
or
Yeah.
something like that. He
You
won't
know,
answer, you know, he doesn't answer it or he doesn't text or anything like that. It's more of like just because we bet each
yeah.
other things all the
Yeah.
time, and
Yeah.
it's more like for fun or for play. But um,
That's
yeah,
good.
so I feel like maybe, you know, through this conversation when we're talking about Valentine's Day and gratitude, and really adopting that type of mindset to practice those things daily, that really we need to take 2 steps back and practice being present in our lives so we give ourselves the opportunity to feel those things and
I feel like
project
there's
those things.
nothing, well, I won't say there's nothing better because there's a lot of wonderful things to experience. But when you're with a friend and you're sitting across from them and you're having a cup of coffee, or you're on a Zoom or FaceTime or whatever, because they're not close by, and you're like in the conversation, you're really in the conversation and you're talking about things that really are important, and if you're suffering from something or you're going through something and like I want to hear about it and I want to,
Right.
either be there to listen or help or whatever it may be. And I think as we get older, and our kids get older and our friends get older, we're going to become, and our parents are older. Let's talk about that one of these episodes,
Yeah.
how we shift from our parents taking care of us to us taking care of our parents. It's a real challenge, when your parents get old.
Yes.
So, um, but to be just to be able to listen and to know that I hear you and that you hear me. It's not something that we do a lot these days, and it's just really,
No.
yeah.
No,
Oh,
I heard I listen to sports radio every morning. Um, a local, they're syndicated, but a local Boston foursome that talks about sports. I love football. Um, so I do. And I love sports. You know what I do? I love athletic prowess. I love seeing people get their physical bodies to the point that they can perform the way that these world-class athletes perform. I think it's fascinating. It's fascinating to me. So I listened to sports radio and they were saying, now I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh my God.
a day of
Oh my
love
God.
being
Gone. Senior
okay.
moment gone.
All right. Well, I'm gonna then talk to you about something that
Okay.
so I binged recently the Netflix thing on the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders.
How was it?
Okay, so I learned a lot. What I learned the most of is holy shit, the discipline that these girls go through and the perfection that is required of them and expected of them. If you are somebody, clearly you just stated that you are, that loves the athletic prowess and prowness or whatever you called it,
Prowess.
okay,
Prowess.
prowess. So, you would really find this fascinating because, yeah,
All
I was
right.
more like, yeah, and now, it is very interesting on how they get picked and oh my gosh, what they have to go through. But the bodies and how they push themselves, it's
It's
really
crazy.
so anyways, so take
And
a
I
look.
don't think they get paid a lot. Like, I
I
think
think
this is like a side hustle for
it
most of
is
them. Like, they
definitely
have to,
successful. It
yeah,
definitely because I think at one point they were getting $15 a game. So most of them work full time. And this is what their dream is. And then when
yeah,
it's over. Like
right,
when they don't make it, or when they decide not to move forward or try out again, they're like, now who am I? I'm no longer
right.
Dallas Cowboy cheerleader, but I think you would enjoy it. So take a looky
I
at
will
it.
definitely. And now I remember what I was going to say.
Right. I figured you would.
So I'm listening to the sports radio. Thank you. I will watch it because Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders were like iconic.
Oh yeah,
Like
they're like,
nothing like that had ever been done. And I think they've maybe started in the 70s.
yes, in the 70s, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, before you forget, what were you gonna say?
Before I forget, so one of the guys, one of the team members on the radio, the team was talking about how we are becoming more and more disconnected.
Mhm.
So he gave some stat like post COVID or during COVID, 74% of meals purchased out of the house were purchased like to go, meaning like people aren't sitting in restaurants and like disconnecting but they're still like eating out. So it's a kind of like an inverse type of relationship. And he was saying that it really speaks to, people don't chit chat in the supermarket line anymore. I mean, I remember when I was growing up, we were standing in the supermarket line, you talk to people because nobody was on the phone, right?
Right.
And that connection is a way of expressing love, empathy, gratitude. It's all there. And when you're sitting there and with nothing else to do but speak to somebody, especially a stranger, you don't know how that could affect somebody's day. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think it's just it's one of those things that we have gotten away from. And then we put so much emphasis on these one day, excuse me, holidays like Valentine's Day or Thanksgiving or even Christmas or New Year's. It has to be this big, grandiose thing when in actuality, those small nuggets of connection all streamed together
Mhm.
really make the biggest difference.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And sadly, we're getting to a point in our society that those people that do make eye contact or speak out to a stranger and say hello or whatever are viewed as being like weirdos, It's
Yeah.
like
Like, what do
just,
you want from me?
oh, that was so
Yeah.
creepy. Somebody just,
Yeah. Somebody said hi. That guy just said hi. Yeah. It's, I hope that it turns around. I hope there's some sort of
I think
universal
it's
shift.
it's got to turn around because we are just we are missing so many of the beautiful signs that we're getting from the universe. We are no longer paying attention, well, not everybody, but paying attention to um, nature and
Mm-hmm.
all of the communication that we get from that realm. It's like we're missing out on that. Um,
Did you find during COVID, I found during COVID that the universal vibration got very quiet and it
yeah,
was so nice. And I remember, when my work was shut down and I felt pretty isolated because I wasn't teaching or seeing the people at work or teaching to live people. I was teaching on Zoom, which I freaking hated. Um, I remember thinking to myself that I really hope that we don't go back to the way it was.
yeah. And it
I
went back
want it. It
5 seconds.
went back in a fucking second and worse. I think it's now worse than when
Yeah.
COVID hit. COVID, regardless, I honor my kids lost one of their grandmothers during COVID. I understand that it was really devastating to a lot of people. Um, I believe that it was the universe telling us that we need to reset and we need to,
You were put in a timeout.
yes, exactly. And we didn't learn our lesson during
Nope.
that timeout at all.
No, we did not. We all said we were, and we were going to behave better, but look at what we're doing to Mother Earth.
Yeah. And each other.
Yeah, and each other. When I was during COVID, I was at my parents taking care of them. I was traveling. I was getting ready to travel to not New Orleans, to Las Vegas for work. And so I was dropping our dogs off with my parents and I was going to fly out of Tampa. And that's when the world stopped. So I ended up being with my parents in Sarasota and that's why I ended up just staying here and moving here.
Hmm.
But they live in a neighborhood that, it's an established neighborhood. But it's like backs up to a golf course and there's multiple houses around. Every morning we'd see a family of deer come into their yard. And
So nice.
it
So
wasn't
sweet.
not like they live in the wilderness or they live, I mean, there was like
Right.
house, it's typical. And and then the birds and the this and the that. And I was like, it was so quiet. Like everybody was finally coming back to their natural environment.
Yes. Yeah, I
And
mean, like I believe that the vibration of the earth was quiet enough for them to come out. Yeah. I felt it. I felt there was just this quietness, it
yeah,
was so
it was
nice. It was
calm. It
so
was
nice. It was
finally calm.
calm.
It wasn't, yeah, you're
Yeah.
not. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I know, I hear you. So if we can just be focused on that and just sharing love every day, we don't need to wait for Valentine's Day.
Amen.
But I will
Amen.
tell you something exciting that's happening this weekend. My mom turns 80 on the 22nd of February, but we're having her an 80th birthday party for her on Saturday the 15th.
Oh, how
And
nice.
and yeah, so I'm really
She's
looking forward to that.
80.
Yeah.
Wow, my mom just turned 86.
oh my gosh.
I know. I
How
know.
lucky are we that we still have,
Still have.
a parent, if not both
You
of them.
are so fortunate that you still have both. I unfortunately lost my dad a long time ago. 2008. He was really young. Um, but my mom's still, and she is as spitfiery as she was 25 years ago. So, well, how exciting.
Yeah, so that'll be fun and it's always good. My brothers are flying in from Connecticut and their kids are coming from wherever all over the place and it'll be nice.
Nice.
Be a nice way to celebrate.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I do, let's just, I think my wish for everybody is, and really focusing on those moments, those big moments like an 80th birthday or spending time with your brothers and their kids is, putting the phone down is too cliche. Just be present.
Yeah.
Seriously, just feel, like be quiet enough to feel the love in the room and then take that and spread it.
Yes, absolutely. Speaking of which, before we hang up, I'm going to read an angel
Oh,
card.
awesome. Okay.
So, for everybody listening, this is what your angels want you to know. You are what you think. Think positive thoughts.
Amen. That, you know what? And that was kind of perfect for what we talked
Yeah,
about.
absolutely. They're listening.
They
So
are
be good to
listening.
yourself and be good to others. And let's try to get that energy level back at a calm, peaceful, serene state throughout the country, throughout the world.
Amen. Little nuggets stream together, make a beautiful, beautiful, purposeful, intentional, well-lived life.
Yes. Like Christmas lights, I'm picturing. Christmas lights. Yeah.
Love you, my friend. Love you, love you.
Namaste, everybody. Until
Namaste.